Hello and welcome back to the Next Metal Production channel here at YouTube. So, I am here to review the comeback album from San Francisco-based US power metal band Hexx. Before I definitely get into the album here, which of course the album is titled Wrath of the Reaper. So, let's definitely get into the backstory first before I actually do get into the review here and I review my notes on here. I'm definitely not getting rid of this, sort of tactic, whatever, of basically reading off a paper. Alright, enough goofing around. Alright, so Hexx were formed in 1983, originally under the name of Paradox, and did release a demo under Paradox, which can be found as bonus tracks on the reissues of No Escape. But then changed their name, obviously, of how many other bands were using the name Paradox. Of course, the name the New Wave or British Heavy Metal Band. And of course, actually there was, I think, two at least, Paradox from Britain. And of course, the German thrash metal band, so that's definitely obvious right there. So they changed their name to Hexx and released the albums No Escape, which of course is this album right here. But their original vocalist Dennis Manzo left after the album and was then replaced by Dan Bryant and released one of my favorite albums, Under the Spell, in 1986, which of course is this very album right here. And of course I did review for these two albums as well, and I'll definitely link you to those. I did them as a part of my whole US Power Metal Month from last year. Of course, in 1986, then he left. After that album, which... That's why I'm not going to try and go into full detail, but if you have to, you can read the booklet that if you have the copies of the box set, which I have right here, while I'm taking out the CDs, which is this. He left. Then the band decided to go into a extreme metal direction, which was getting quite popular at the time thanks to bands such as Slayer, Death, Possessed, Dark Angel, Sodom, Destruction, Creator, and all those bands. And guitar player Clint Bauer, who also came in on the Under the Spell album, decided to do vocals. And in 1988 they released the Quest for Sanity mini LP, which was released on the Under One Flag label. And in 1990 they released the Watery Graves mini LP, which was released through the very somewhat, not very short-lived, but Wild Rags Records. Then in 1999 they released Morbid Reality on through Century Media Records. And at the time it was their last album. That wasn't until now. In 2013, they had gotten back together with their original vocalist to do shows, but they never were permanent. Dennis Manzo did manage to record a demo with Hexx in 2013 titled Up From the Graves, which can be found as bonus tracks on the box set that Metal Blade had put out, which of course is the one that I just showed right here. But it was a one-time deal. But in 2015, steps in new vocalist Eddie Vega, and here in 2017, we are with their comeback album titled Wrath of the Reaper. Released on September 15th, which of course, right the day that I'm recording this video, through High Roller Records, both on CD and vinyl. The album is very much back to the sound of Under the Spell, and is just chock full of meaty US power metal riffs, very much in the vein of bands such as Metal Church vs. Rumors, Hellstar, Sanctuary, and so on. which of course at that time Hexx really did fell into those bands as well, since they were on kind of some of the same labels as those bands, especially Vicious Rumors being on Shrapnel Records. New singer Eddie Vega has a tremendous amount of pipes. The guy fits the sound of the album, almost reminding me of the late Rhett Forrester, who of course sang with Riot. Dan Watson, the guitar player, is in tip-top shape and is just on fire with his guitar solos and riffs. Just listen to Dark Void of Evil. Even ex-Brockus Helm guitar player Bobby Wright is in for the ride, and also helps out with bringing back that US power metal sound that they had on their first two albums. And him and Dan just trade back and forth, giving one tasty twin guitar attack. And of course, drummer John Schaefer and bass player Mike Horn are the driving force behind this and keeps this album very tight. Each track is just excellent, no filler, just killer. So, that gets to the score, which is a 9.90 out of 10. This album is just solid. Probably their best work since the Under the Spell album from 1986. And very much feels like a proper follow-up to that album. From the riffing, to the song composing, to the musicianship, and Eddie Vega's great vocal work. I understand that the demo tracks that he did, that he did, at least that were kind of on this box set or on there. I kind of understand those being just, tasters to kind of give of what this band is definitely capable of. But on this album, this is a much better representation of what this band can definitely do. Or at least this lineup. Eddie Vega is a lot better on this album than he was on the demo. The writing is just a lot better as well. But the sound it just shows what Hexx can do with this lineup. Really good album. Very recommended. Some of my favorite tracks here that I can definitely recommend to those. If you had yet to pick this album or have not yet put, a pre-order or whatever on this when it was, announced. Favorite tracks would be definitely the kickoff track, Macabre Procession of Spectres, Screaming Sacrifice, which was the first track to be released as a taster, Dark Void of Evil, like I said earlier, Voices, Circle of Drain, and of course the title track, Wrath of the Reaper, and Certificate of Death, which apparently according to Metal Archives, it's a bonus track. Yet, when you also click on the track listing for the vinyl on Metal Archives, it's also listed. So in a way, is it really a bonus track? Or almost redundant to say that it's a bonus track if it's going to be on all copies. I never understood that trend. Anyways, great album from Hexx, a great comeback album. It's definitely one of their best albums, definitely a contender for the best album of this year, and there have been quite a bit of great albums here this year that really are contenders for album of the year. If you were never a fan of their death thrash period, this album you won't have to worry about very much. Like I said, back to that US power metal sound of the albums such as Under the Spell and not really No Escape. It's just very much like Under the Spell. If you like that album, you'll definitely love the sound. You like Metal Church, those type of bands, you'll love this album. Anyways, this is Heavy Thrash Shed saying I am out. And I'll see you later. Pick up a copy of this album. I definitely recommend.